So it's your boy Shani B. This is Braka, and this is the International Women's Month special, Queens of Reggae. And I'm joined by two queens in reggae. First to my right, Tanya Audiomack is the way she likes to be titled. I'm going to call her the Queen of the Stream. And to her right is Reshma B, music journalist, filmmaker, cultural creator, Pop Daddy's mum, and the lady that hosts Boomshoots. Ladies, welcome. Wagwan.
Thank you.
Two of my generals, them. This is what I'm going to call like the Pocket Rocket edition.
Ooh, nice.
Got two little bit ladies, yeah? But we're in Jamaica right now.
Okay.
Little but Talawa. And we've got to big up the IMCA as well.
Of course.
Because this is representing International Women's Month, we have to big up Sharon Burke.
Yes.
And Judy Bodley. That is doing crazy work out here. But let's talk about reggae and you guys' journey. I want you guys to be able to inspire the next generation of ladies that come through and represent this thing. And the way that I look at it right now is that without the ladies in reggae and the ladies in dancehall, we'll be in trouble. But you guys are finessing it right now.
You're talking about like artists or in the industry?
Right across the industry. When I look at managers, when I look at publishers, PR people, when I look at people like Cara that's doing great stuff with people like Skeng, Christina that's looking after Skipper.
Carlene.
I think with Valiant, I think you ladies are just keeping the man in check right now. How that sound?
That sounds good to me. Keep going.
Where we're going to start is like how you both kind of got into it. So Reshma, let me start with you.
All right.
Because you come from my part of town.
Yes,
You're a Londoner like me. What part of London do you come
West
from?
London, man.
You're West London for real.
Hello.
You know about West London?
No.
You don't know about West London is the best part of London.
Whoa.
Are you from West London?
I'm a white city born and bred person.
Whoa.
When you say you are Labrador Grove?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you Labrador Grove for real.
Lawson to Labrador. Listen, we're from
You just knew that all the time?
Was it West Side?
It's the best
There
side.
you go.
Oh my gosh.
How did you get into this thing, Resh?
So, obviously raised in West London, huge Caribbean population, culture, and all the immigrants are basically melting pot. And I put it down to my mom, and I say this all the time when I've been, grateful to travel with my film in all areas of the world. People always say, how did you get into reggae? How did you get in reggae? I always say everybody loves reggae, right? Like, I don't really know anyone that doesn't like reggae. And if they do, I think they're making a point about it. It's not that they don't, because I think reggae just is a natural thing that you gravitate to. The beat of reggae is your natural rhythm, right? Your energy, your heartbeat. And my mum always played UB40. She was a huge UB40 fan. And remember, like, in her time, Top of the Pops and all that shit, they were playing reggae as if it was pop music. It wasn't reggae and then it wasn't like pop. It was like reggae is pop. So for me, coming from London town, the UK, I think we see reggae as in like pop. Now that I live in New York, people think of it as more of a niche subject, but it's not. Because when I grew up, reggae was everywhere. And like, you watch adverts and which call commercials, and how many songs.
Israelites, all of these songs were in the commercials.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like literally,
yes.
All of those songs was in the commercials. So,
and remember, they do these programs where they do reruns of adverts. Like, they have this in the UK, and it goes back forever. I've seen like Tease Me for like Maltesers or something, right? Like or Vitalite, for like stuff like the Scatterlights,
Wake up in the morning, wanting some breakfast, but not gonna spread on my toast. Vitalite.
And so for me, it didn't seem like it was anything different. It's just what everyone's doing.
So that means that carnival must have been a massive thing for you.
Well, that's the thing. You can't even, there's no like, I can't go to the carnival. You open the door and someone's like peeing outside your house or trying to get in your house to pee. Like, so you are doing that whether you like it or not. So, being involved in it is a community thing,
So has it stayed with you all the way through? Because obviously in the UK, you have a love of reggae, but then there's like the different expressions of that love, which is like drum and bass, jungle.
Yo, Martin, one of them, I spin them like a windmill. You talk for them, but them a weak.
seen it in garage and grime and all that kind of stuff as well. Did you divert often to any of that, or was it always just reggae for you and dancehall?
I must say that dancehall is my thing. I just love dancehall, and so I've always gravitated to it, and just being able to, I remember being like, I was super young when everyone's listening to like Buju and Shaba, and that was very exciting for me. Like, this stuff is exciting, and like everyone coming in the morning, at school, and it's like everyone's listening to what their parents are listening to, and it's like, wow, this is super cool and this is exciting. And it was always an excitement when dancehall is around and dancehall is playing. There's always an excitement. We were talking about this earlier. Like, it's this, oh my God, did they really do this? Did they really say this? And then it's a rounded culture, right? Because when you talk about reggae and dancehall, you don't just talk about the music. It's the way you eat, the way you sleep, the way you look, what you're wearing, how you talk.
So were you going to dances when you was younger?
No, as if I was allowed.
What do you mean? Like, you get a little bit older when you're like 17, 18,
of course. Yeah, of course.
So where was you going to then?
I don't know.
Was you going Palm Beach and Dreams in Lawson?
I can't remember.
Uptown Splurt with Robber Ranks at Samantha's.
I didn't even
Hanover.
know.
Yes,
I don't
Central
know.
London.
Whatever, I guess whatever your friends are doing, you're doing that. Like, I wasn't like the person who was like, I was just going. It wasn't like I was looking at things and going, hey, rounding people up. I was just barely, if I could get out the house and go you're gone, all right? But remember, like I said, it was all like, you're doing a lot of this stuff at school too. Like, school is where you learn everything, because everyone comes to school and everyone's sharing. It's just like talking about EastEnders. You're just...
We've just lost Tanya like massively.
I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, all that to...
Dallas Dynasty? You don't know about Dallas Dynasty?
No.
What would the Americans know about, like...
Save the Bell,
like soap operas or something like that.
That's it. Soap operas.
soap operas.
I think the name of it, soap operas.
Yeah, I never really watched soap. I'm not a soap opera person.
Oh wow! So tell me about your entrance into this thing. How did you grow up in this?
It was. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, growing up in Brooklyn, let's make it clear. You're around it regardless. Home, whatever. You're just around it. But originally, I did not come. I love music. I didn't come into music thinking I was going to get into reggae.
Okay.
What
was your first love?
My first. I mean, you grew up and you listened to it. Of course, it's going to be reggae. But when I discovered hip hop, I'm a hip hop person. I'm tuned in. 10 years old, I discovered it, and I was like, yo, this is me. So I wanted to do music, but I wanted to do hip hop. Like, I was like, I gotta work. I thought I was a rapper at one point. Yeah, I thought I was a rapper.
Do you have bars?
No, I don't got no bars.
Yeah,
I just thought I was.
She got bars.
She got bars.
No, you got bars.
No.
Lil T.
Little T. But I really wanted to be a rapper. I mean, I was a dancer because, I went to dance school when I was young. And after that, I was like, I'm going to be a rapper. But it was just, I always loved music. But I got into a little trouble when I was in school. And for the last year of my high school, they put me in this thing called City Art School. And you go out and you intern at a place. And while I did, I interned at a music place. And from there, segued to end up at Sony. So it was like...
From out of school?
No, while I was in my last year in 12th grade.
Serious?
Yeah. So they do this thing called City Art School. So what they do is that they make you pick what you want.
So that's like careers in the UK?
Yeah.
They do City Art School. So I went to school at night. I went to physical school at night, and in the daytime, they had me doing that. So I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm at Sony. This is what I'm about to be at A&R. So I had it all planned out.
So you knew exactly
I
what
thought I was
going.
I knew I wanted to be in music. I just knew it.
But at that time, did you know what A&R was?
Because I knew what an A&R was because, like, when you look at back then, the CDs.
Yeah.
You look at the back of the CDs. You look at the credits. So you'd be like, who arranged the music? A&R, composer, blah, blah, blah. So I just always knew in my mind, I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. Didn't know what they did, but I just thought they put everything together. But I ended up not interning in A&R because I realized that's something everybody wanted to do across the board. Everybody wanted to intern in the A&R. So I ended up doing radio promo in the promotions department. So I was a little upset, but that's how it started, really. And then when all that went down, I got laid off at Sony and went to Def Jam, got laid off. This guy named Olivier Chasson. I went to a party. I was invited.
Is Olivier, that's a...
who used to be at VP.
VP, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Him. I went to a party. I was invited. Just got laid off. Probably like 2 months now. This guy named Lewis Raffington. He invited me because I knew him. You know, when you constantly seeing somebody, he knew I was the label girl, and I knew he was the label guy for VP. And I was like, all right, went to the party. Olivia was like, hey, where you? I'm like, oh, I'm at Sony, blah, 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 blah. But I was gonna go to Jamaica, go visit some peoples. And I was like, yeah, I'm not, nah. He was like, come to VP and you know, I was like, nah, they ain't, you know, like, I was like, this ain't me. Went there, it was like, I'm not gonna lie, the business was a culture shock because I'm used to, like at Sony, it was like it's a certain structure. Okay. You're used to, it was structured. Like departments, you don't do anything outside of the department. This is what you do. This is what this department do. This is what this department do. At VP, it was like everything was in one. So it was like so you doing everything. I'm driving artists through, that's how, when we saw Buck today, that's how Buck know me.
Oh, wow.
Driving artists to Connecticut, driving artists to Boston, driving artists to Rhode Island. So, you know, like I was very hands-on. So that was my first entry into reggae music was VP.
Did you know the music at the time?
Of course I knew the music. I knew the music. But I knew the music, but that was not, I knew the music, but it was not like I'm gonna go into in a business side. Because what I've learned with this is like the business and personal was different. You could personally love something, but you sometimes don't know that that's what your career path is going to be. So I personally love it, but I didn't think I was going to end up getting into the business part of it.
What was your first role, Resh? For this long list of different things.
What's the list? I didn't tell you about no list. You wrote that list. So don't complain about the list is long now.
I didn't even put Boomshoots. Did I put Boomshoots in there at the end?
I don't know.
I think I did mention the Boomshoots.
And you know, that link up was amazing. Shout out to Rob Kenner, of course, who had that up before my time. That was part of Vibe magazine. And I know he has a special announcement. It's come full circle going back to that. So I'm sure he'll talk about that more on his panel tomorrow. But I linked with Rob because on my first trip to Sunfest. So believe it or not, I went to uni for chemistry degree. I got a chemistry degree, and when I finished,
you did science.
I did science because I just wanted to go.
Oh, wow.
I just wanted to get out the house and like go to uni and live out. And I did English, biology, chemistry, physics, like at the A-level stuff. And my science was stronger, so I got in. I did chemistry, and when I finished, I was like, this is boring. I don't want to do this. And my parents are like, all the people that graduated with me are like getting, you know, they're going to GlaxoSmithKline, like, you know, all the pharmaceutical companies. And my mom's like, so-and-so's daughter just got like a, you know, package and a car. And I was like, oh, and she's like, so where do you go for you? And I was like, and at the time, in my last year of chemistry, believe it or not, I was like, you know how you have hospital radio? I got my own show on hospital radio.
He was a radio. Hold on a second. Radio DJ.
So you know how radio teach you. I got to shout out like all that because that's how I probably got into it, because they teach you how to be a floor manager, DJ, go get requests.
Hospital radio.
Hospital radio.
Hospital
You can go to any hospital. I think at the time I was
hospital radio, like
in the hospital.
The hospital got a radio station?
Yeah.
Every hospital got a radio station, and it pumps it out to the patients.
And you know it's competitive. Like you got to get on a list in order for you to get your own show, but you get to full training.
She can't believe it. They would charge for it in America, though.
Yeah, I know.
It's part of the NHS in the UK.
But I didn't even know a hospital could have its own radio station.
Yeah.
So what do they talk about?
And we're like in the basement.
It's like today's, like, what do they talk about? Like today's food or the menu?
Like we're here today, we're all talking, like what's happening, which patient in ward where first of all, the first half an hour is like you go up to like patients and go collect their requests and talk to them.
That's one of the routes to get into radio in the UK. A lot of DJs in the UK, radio presenters, did hospital radio.
You did that?
I didn't do hospital radio.
Why did you not?
Because I did community radio, aka pirate.
Oh, so you went.
And then I started to do like what they call restricted service license stations, stations which were like 28-day license stations, so legal for a month. and then you build till you get to that place.
But that's how you learn. Like you're literally learning in real time. So it's almost like getting a diploma now that I think about it.
Hospital radio.
Because I would know how to run a whole floor if I had, not that I would, but like you learn these skills. That's the whole point. Like 1 week you'll be doing floor manager or, you know, then you'll be, and then like eventually I got my own show or whatever. I don't remember all that. And then I was like, no, I'm going to be, and I was always just playing reggae and
So
dancing.
let me ask you, so when you're at the hospital, is the only time you can listen to that station?
Yeah.
So it's broadcast. I think you can. It's plumbed into the system and all the rest of it.
Oh, so that means when you sit on your thing,
you can get the headphones.
put it on
Yeah.
and
I don't think it's over a FM frequency,
No.
but it's just through the
the hospital.
system, the hospital system.
So it's one channel,
yeah,
and then it just jumps into different things.
different shows. Yeah,
And they be like, shout out to patient
You
on
are
bed
like
5-2.
Here's the next one. There's prison radio in the UK as well.
Is there?
Yeah,
Well,
prison radio is a big thing. I actually go in and have conversations with different people that
Really?
do shows. Yeah.
respect to
And
that.
they interview you and all the rest of it.
This
And
is
it goes to all different radio stations, different prisons and all the rest of it. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know
quite
that.
that's interesting.
And then when they leave, when they get freed, they got opportunity to
Work at
go
the
into
station?
Yeah. Just last week, I saw one in BBC.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah, somebody at Trevor Nelson, I think, he mentored, and came out and went and saw him at the BBC doing the intern at BBC. Yeah.
okay.
That's
So your
dope. Anyway,
story-
so blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I started being a stringer for BBC Radio. And so I was doing shit like getting interviews for people like you, people that were on,
So
you know.
was part of the production team.
Yeah,
You was working
like
as
go
AP,
out on,
assistant
like, and
production
I
team
ended
and
up
stuff.
covering all the reggae and dancehall shows. I went to Amsterdam, wherever there was a reggae festival, and nobody wanted to go to Jamaica because Glastonbury at the same time, right, or something. There was, I was like, I'll go. So it's my first time coming to Jamaica doing Sumfest.
Are you serious?
And
What
that-
year was this?
I can't, it was the year that it was the first time I met Cartel, and then he was, yeah, I can't remember what year that.
That would be like what?
And then
And then
the
he went
year
jail.
after,
He
yeah.
was in jail, so
Yeah.
like 2011, 2010, 2011.
Yeah. And I linked that was really like me getting into like all, and then that's when I linked with Boomshoots, and I was doing, they were like they were asking me to do like all the videos, like now everyone sees my interviews on Boomshots TV, which is, log on boomshots.com or, YouTube Boomshots TV. And I started just doing all the interviews for them because, luckily it was considered being freelance, so I could do lots of different work. And then I came across a story about some lost archives, which I was working on. And that I did when I heard about the lost archives. This is the film that it developed into the film that I made for the BBC. I initially had bumped into Clive Chin and an event in New York that I randomly was in New York for something, and I wanted to go over and give my condolences about Joel, because I had written about Joel because I'd already started blogging for Clash Music. So if you go on to Clash, they were like, I was doing previews for shows and news things for them, all the reggae and dancehall stuff. And they eventually gave me my own column because there was no visibility anywhere else on a mainstream platform for reggae and dancehall. So it started to get a lot of traction. So they were like, can you do a column? So I did a column under Reggae Girl About Town for a long time. That's how I got the nickname Reggae Girl About Town. And I happened to be in New York for something, and then I came across the story of these lost archives. My mind was blown, obviously, because Clive started, he took me to VP and started making me listen to all these things. And I was like, where are you getting all this stuff from? It's like, this is Dennis Brown. I was like, oh, Dennis Brown's catalog is pretty well known. I've never heard. It's like, oh no, they're not out. I was like, how do you have stuff that's not out? And then he was like, oh yeah, we've got like 1,000 tapes that were just, we found back at, Studio 17 in North Parade. And I was like, can I come to the transfer sessions? And they were like, no. And I was like, I have to come to the transfer sessions because, I really am so curious. Please, please, please. They let me in. And, you're talking about, they're doing these reels in real time. So first of all, you don't know what's going to come off it. It could be Bob talking to Peter and, they're just getting their instruments ready before they talk, because they're not mixed and they're masters. So you're hearing everything.
The intros.
Yeah,
and
it's actually amazing. Sometimes they're like rolling a spliff and they're talking, and sometimes they're pissed off they haven't eaten. Sometimes they're really excited, they want to take two, but it's all in real time. It took a whole night, but my mind was blown because I haven't ever met legends like Bob, Peter, Dennis. Like, I've not met them, and I'm doing this work. So it was like, I felt like I was in a room with them because you're hearing their voices. And I was like, I have to take this back to the BBC. But at the time I was doing stuff, stringing for like Radio 1 and 1 Extra. And I was like, this is not going to go down for that audience. So I went straight to Radio 4 and I contacted the program. I can't remember the name of the person at the time. And they told me to come in, and we did a whole package then for it. And then after that, I was asked to make it into a film. Could you produce this into a film? Because it's such a crazy story. Did really well on the radio, whatever. People got excited. And I was approached. Who directed the film, Mark James, had done lots of different films for the BBC. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do it. Because, you say yes to everything when you're free. And it's exciting. Of course I want to do a film. But the film took 7 years from start to finish. I've had a whole career in between that time. I've made mini docs, and I've done hundreds of hours of interviews, as you know, like on Boomshoots TV, you can see all of our interviews. So that's how that happened.
Do you know what really strikes me is the short space of time.
Yeah.
Even though you say 7 years to do the documentary, but to know that you started more or less like in 2011, 2012, around that time, and to know where you are here right now, like one of the main faces when it comes to documenting this music for interviews and all the rest of it, that drive that you have. And I say to both of you, the drive that I've seen on the display from both of you guys, that's why I use that phrase, the pocket rockets. What was it like for you at VP when you was there?
Wow.
Because you're so little bit in a team. And the space that you're in is a male-dominated space.
Yeah.
But you've also got that Brooklyn attitude, though, innit?
No. VP was cool. Like, it's so weird, and I know everybody gonna say that's crazy. Once I go through something, I tuck that on the back of my. I be like, yo, it's more to the journey. Only thing I would say, VP kind of toughened me up a little bit when it comes to the industry part of things, because it toughened me up and then taught me how to multitask. Because at Audiomack, because it's a small platform, you're doing multiple jobs. VP taught me that. I would not have learned that when I was at Sony or at Def Jam, because this is your lane, you stay in your lane. At VP, I'm not lying. It's like you the driver, the assistant, the person doing radio, you're doing your own marketing, you're doing it's everything. So, and you doing it, no shade, little to no budget. And then it taught me also to build.
Ain't that the best way of doing it though?
Yeah.
Like Navy SEAL training, like rebel, like proper. You had the BBC budget, so to put it aside.
Well, you say that, but I would like to say, I know everyone thinks like,
put it straight, because I work for the BBC as well. Thank you.
Put it straight that it's still a government-owned entity.
Yes.
So they're not giving out $1 million budgets. If I went and made a film for Netflix, I'd like to think that they would compensate in those, digits. But no, and it was my first feature. And a lot of the reason why it took 7 years is we had to keep raising money, and I would like to also say that one of the reasons, and anyone who's seen Studio 17, first of all, thanks for the support and thank you for watching, because, when you make something, you don't know where it's going to go. And I was privileged enough to have so much support, and people like we had Quincy Jones, R.I.P. Quincy Jones, when my film came out, watched it, talked about it. Everyone got interested. And because of that, Rolling Stone, GQ, I got profile on GQ because of, people got excited, and that's exciting. That doesn't always happen. But the film itself took 7 years because I had decided that while I was doing a lot of these interviews and finding a lot of these artists that had created this music, to keep it real, I started realizing that the people that were creating these, the artists that were they weren't getting compensated like the machine was making the money, and not trickled down to the people that created this. So when we had opportunities to like take money from record labels in order for us to complete the process, we didn't do that, because that would mean that we're changing the narrative, because a lot of things are not going to go in the favor of telling the truth. And it was more important for me to tell the truth, because I had so many legends in that film that sat with me. Lee Scratch Perry, who's not here anymore. Sly Dunbar, who's not here anymore. Lord Creator, who's not here anymore, who was so messed up by the industry that when I would call him for the interview, he would just, if they heard who we were working, like if it was like to do with anything that they didn't want, he would put the phone down, because they were so burnt by the industry. So now they've given me this time, told me their truth. I just couldn't face like shutting those voices out. So we took the time we took to make it so it was real. And you know, that's agonizing, because I didn't even know if that film was going to come out, to be honest. Like at one point you really start to realize you don't know. And you know, that was still one of many things you're doing, because you're trying to juggle and you're doing other things in the industry, you're earning money in other ways, and then every so often there'd be an opportunity to take a trip, Miami, Jamaica, and I was just doing that because I could then, you know, and that's how we were piecing it together. So, you know, it's not a lot of money, and you know, in that time I've been able to do short docs, and yes, I've done short docs. I did a Skip Marley doc with Island Records. I've done film, which hopefully coming out this year with Def Jam. You know, you saw the film we did on Welcome to Jackmarock. You know, these short docs, they're a quicker turnaround. So yes, they're better in a way where you can, you don't have to go on the festival circuit. You don't have to go shop them around, and they go out and people see them.
It sounds like the whole filmmaker kind of role is your calling.
Well, remember that all the films, I've done hundreds of hours of probably interviews. So I've known and made relationships with artists. And sometimes that's where I'm able to pull the
relationships.
Yeah. And that's how it works. So each one we're kind of all creating content in a way. Look what you're doing now with us. Hope you're going to get us to sign a release.
That relationship thing is pretty much what Tanya Audiomack is all about, is it not?
Yeah.
Tell me about your role at Audiomack.
Well, now I deal with the as you know, I deal with the Caribbean and the diaspora. So basically just, I mean, outside of the fact at the end of the day, streaming is the game, but where it's a little bit different with us is that we actually get a chance to build a relationship with the artist, so they know why they're streaming or what they're streaming or how to kind of push their music. Cause like what we were speaking about earlier on the platform, like, yeah, everybody looks at it like they just drop, release, and just leave it alone. A lot of times I try to explain to the artist, like, build it. So I said, it's like you said with Audiomack, it's a relationship. Yeah, it's a relationship like type thing. But that's what I do. I oversee the Caribbean department, making sure the marketing like for the app is on point, that artists would care to stream on Audiomack or care to support Audiomack or care to even, like, if we say, hey, do this for us, like they're care to do that, because unlike with us, we don't have, that DSP doesn't have we don't have money like that for us to pay artists or pay DJs or pay whoever to do certain things. But yeah, I think really that's really it.
Was there anybody that you could look at as that kind of inspiration for yourself when you was getting into the game as a female? Or was you just seeing men?
I was just seeing men. And you know what it is? This is just me, and it's no shade because we're females. The females who I had 1 or 2 encounters with shoved me off.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. It was always like I did not have good interactions with a lot of the females when I was coming up.
So you would say the guys were
the guys were more, even though they're aggressive and chauvinist and, you get thing, like, I'm not gonna lie, they're a little aggressive and chauvinist and they be doing things like that.
When you say aggressive and
they're
chauvinist,
just being
tell us
men.
some mistakes tell me
Like, they're
of the
just
mistakes
being
of my
men,
colleagues
like-
were
Oh,
making.
well, we ain't got time for that.
Oh, come on, I
they
want to
just-
hear.
Because that's a long
Yeah, they just like-
session.
This is the opportunity for us to be able to look at ourselves.
Can I also just say, I want to just say, I also agree with what Tanya is saying. Like, I've never really talked about any controversial shit in the industry, and I don't know why I'm doing it here right now with you, but
I ain't saying no controversial.
and I'm not
just
saying anything controversial, but I agree with what she's saying. I've had women who have said some negative shit to me, and I'm like, and men who've put me in places. So,
Why do you think that is?
no, I don't, and I'm not putting this across the board, but I had one, and you might even know this person, so I am not talking about this as a safe space. As I said on my panel earlier, we're not calling names or talking about people like that because, we're not, but it's true. Like, I had, when I was like coming up, I just feel like I'm still coming up. Like, when you're like doing your thing in the beginning, you're really extending yourself, your enthusiasm. I had this person go to me, well, Reshma, you're just going to Jamaica and getting interviews. Like, anybody can do that. Like, she literally said that to me. And I didn't think she said it in such a, like, as if we're just having a conversation in her office, like it was nothing. And at the time, I was probably just like young and enthusiastic and not even like too stupid to even realize, like, was she dissing me? Like, but it's a diss because it isn't true that you just can go abroad. First of all, it takes a lot of effort to like get up and every week you're like living out of your suitcase. You're going to Amsterdam and then you're writing things up. You're collecting interviews, waiting for the interviews to happen. Like you got a list of things that they've asked you to get and you have to get them. It's not like easy. And then to come back and like, well, anybody can go to Jamaica and get interviews. And it's like, no, because you're having real conversations and making real connections with artists. I don't see it as when I leave them, I'm never going to talk to them. I got what I want. And you're building. And for her to have said that, it's now stuck with me for a while. And I realized after a while, I stopped working with that person.
I find it so strange to hear you say that.
But then this is me coming up, on a come up. Like now, of course, I deal with females and I get like, I'm actually cool with a couple of them. Like I'm not gonna be honest. And it's funny, Carla, Carla.
Carla Murray?
UK Carla.
Wow.
Remember a couple of years ago, I was telling her, I was like, yo, can't do it. No, I can't. Cause something kept happening. And ends up, here we are, fast forward, like Cassie helps me, she's the Jamaica arm for us. The girl who does our social media, Catherine, that's our social media. Got a girl who's like right by me daily, is Kayla. So it's like my peers are different. I talked to Sharon and them was cool. Judith is cool. Me and Judith was rapping on the phone for mad hours the other day. Debrina is cool. Like that's different. But coming up, no, I did not look up to any females. I didn't. It was more guys who was in the business. If I messed up, again, they were aggressive, but they'd be like, all right, cool, do it this way.
Could it have been the ladies just defending their space that they got?
And it could be that, and I'm not mad at them, but I'll tell you this, I won't do that
To someone,
how I was treated. I'm stern. People could call me a bitch. People could call me mean. But if I see you trying, one thing I'm going to do is pave the way for you because I don't know what God has in store for me. You could be the same one that could help me sometime in the future. And that's how I view things. Yes, it's competitive, but don't think down on me. I don't like that. So that's something I went through that I promised myself that I try. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I try my best not to. If I can't help you, I'll leave you alone. I just won't talk to you. Some people will be like, yo, Tanya, I'd rather not communicate with you than to throw a wrench in your thing and mess up your thing. I'm not doing it. And it's because I know the feeling. And I had it done so many times to me coming up that I'm very, all right. It messed me up almost. If I continued that way, Cassie wouldn't be here. Catherine wouldn't be the thing. Kayla wouldn't be here. Like there's a whole bunch of females who I have who actually help me out. And I'm able to be in Jamaica right now. Do this, do that. I'm able to do those things because they support me. But vice versa, I've coming up, no. I'm not lying. And if I'm wrong, they could call me out on it, but I know for a fact, no, it was guys. I had males who assisted me and be like, all right, here's this little alley-oop. Actually, yeah, it was guys. It was guys. And how I got into Audiomack too was by a female, but it was like a pair. They was offering her the job and she didn't want to do music anymore. And she was like, yo, Tanya here. It was Kim. She was like, Tanya here. I'm done with music. But to come up for me to look up to and to say, yo, I help you? No. Nope.
Jamaica is not the easiest place to navigate. It's late nights. It's a long waits. How does Jamaica deal with you guys? As females in the business
It's
as
cool.
well.
You know what? I don't even be paying attention. You probably think I'm bugging. I don't even be. It's good to me. I ain't gonna lie. I don't. When it comes to the business, I treat everything is in its own category.
Do you feel that you get treated the same? I remember when me and you first met and you was like, yo, Shawnee, your access to the artist is crazy.
Yeah.
This, that, the other, boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom.
yeah.
I think it was maybe just a platform, had nothing to do with me being a guy. You know what
I
I'm
had to
saying?
fight for that. Now I have that access, but I had to fight for it. Cause again, nobody's not handing it over to you. And sometimes you'll be like, yo, can I get a contact to that? Nobody's not handing that over to you. It's something like they gotta see your work.
You got to put in that work.
You put in the work and then, you know what I'm saying?
When do you think that respect came in for you in that kind of manner of like, okay, she's serious about what she's doing?
Consistency. When they kept seeing me doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, that's when they was like, all right, I think I've been at this Audiomack thing for a while. And if you keep seeing somebody talk about something over and over and over and over and over and over, eventually you'll be like, all right, let me see what she's saying. You know what I mean? I think it was consistency. And there was people who did help out. Like Sharon would hand me some links. Julian, Movato's manager, hand me some links. There's Chemist, CJ the Chemist. I remember one time when I first thing at Audiomack and certain artists, the younger artists I couldn't get to, Chemist was out here and he drove me around to certain artists. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's like, it's not one person, it's multiple people that helped me through, but what made it work is the consistency. It was the consistency. And now they look at me like, oh, that's Tanya, all right. Yeah.
Tell us about your easy journey in Jamaica. Your colleague said it's easy.
No, your colleague.
Oh, somebody said that?
First of all, Tanya, I want to
difficult
give you a props for not becoming bitter and twisted and,
Yeah.
like you said, leave it alone is better. And I feel like I took a very similar approach because if you get bogged down by that, you will kind of like, you just become that,
Yeah.
which is the problem, which can become a problem. And, there's people that say industry gatekeepers, this and that. And that's probably why, because maybe they were like burnt by something and then they carried it over. Like, I would like to think when I joined Boomshoots that I started having a more focus on women because I want to champion women and we started doing loads more interviews with women. Yes, there's more now, but like, I wouldn't like to think I would shut that out because that would be so dumb.
So you brought that perspective to the table.
Exactly. And if I felt, like you said.
Do you think that Rob didn't understand that as
No,
such?
that's not true. I think that, as you know, it's been male dominated for a long time. And then I came into a time where I was doing all the interviews and, of course, I'm going to see things from a different perspective, right? I can also ask women different things that I feel interested in. I don't do any scripted. If you look at any of my interviews, I'm not doing anything scripted. So I'm going to have a personal perspective. Does it come from me being a female? Probably, and we have different experiences. But I love to see the fact that women have grown in this society, in this industry. And like you said, not just in artists, all over.
Yeah.
Streaming, when I was streaming reggae and dancehall at Tidal for a minute, most of it was a mixed bag, but, there was a lot of men, and eventually you now see more women joining things in the corporate world as well. And there's a whole thing that goes with it. I know that America corporate, there's been a whole thing about, pay structure and women and men have always been treated differently. And that's a real thing,
Yeah.
Did people look through you to see Rob at the beginning?
Well,
As in, they didn't see you. when you guys turn up, it's the pair, innit? It's Rob and it's Resh.
Yeah, and we have a whole team now. I want
And
to just
Rob-
shout
and-
out the Boomshoots team, which has grown, right?
But Rob had his name from
Exactly.
before, like everybody knew Rob
Rob
Kenner.
Kenner.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I don't know, but I never felt like dissed or. And I want to shout out every artist, every manager, and everyone that sat with me or sits with me or communicates with me. I don't think I've ever felt like disrespected. So if you want to ask me how have I been treated in Jamaica or in general,
Just
this
in general.
industry, I can't say I can't like, you know, I don't have a shit list anywhere, you know. And do people piss you off? I mean, Shawnee, hello. Yes, you do.
Cheers. I saw she's there. Don't worry about her.
But you know what?
Oh,
I
don't
mean?
worry. She takes shots at me more than you do, Tanya.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm going to say if I have a problem with someone, I'm likely not to talk to anyone.
Right.
I'm with that.
You know, that idea of take away yourself is a real thing. Like I will.
No negative energy.
Yeah, just
Listen,
dismiss.
if I want to banter with you, it's probably because I want to talk to you. Like I'm not going to do that with someone if I didn't like that. What,
I think that's, to be fair, I think that's a ladies' way. The reason why I say that is because that was my mum. If my mum never cuss you, my mum never love you. My mum will cuss you to hell. That was her way of showing love.
Yeah.
A little bit of sensitivity that way.
Yeah.
But very real.
it might also be a British thing. Like, you know how no one says anything.
Very true.
Like how
Even
no
that.
one talks about what they really feel like. And if they do, they have to like make fun of you or something in some way. I've learnt by being, now that I live in New York, I realize I don't really be my true, like, because you might offend someone if you give them like your entire truth, even if you're saying something complimentary, because it's a really different way. Like, you can't be just cussing people left, right, and center. Like,
I hear
you know, because it's a different culture. In the same way, if somebody came up to me and was like, you know, I really love you, Reshma. We're like, yeah, all right, you know, cool, naman.
Just like how Reshma said, like, the Boomshoots content took a slight turn when she got involved. Do you use your femaleness to curate your lists on your playlists on Audiomack, as in to make sure that, yo, I want to make sure that this quota is there for females?
You mean in general?
Yeah, just when you're putting together a playlist.
Not really.
Do you look out for females?
I
more,
do.
basically?
I do. I'll say this, but it's not like
Favoritism.
it's not favoritism, but
Because you know that there was a void there from before.
where at Audiomack?
No, just
in
for,
general.
yeah, in general
I don't
for the
do
ladies.
favoritism, but what I will say is if I reciprocate, meaning, yes, I do have favorite female artists. I will do a little nudge. If I see they thing, then I'll go the mile. But I don't say, okay, I want these females or these males. If I see it's too many and time went by, I will, though, sometimes take a search and say, so no females are not dropping nothing. But it's not something I will, not gonna lie, I don't go out my way and do it. But I don't think I show, do I show favoritism? I don't think I show favoritism, though. I don't think it's hard to explain. I don't, but I know that I wouldn't let too much time go by without taking a peek and seeing if something is there.
Just to make sure that
Yeah.
the quota is correct.
Yeah, I won't. Yeah, I don't think I show favoritism though, but I will. It sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I'll look out here and there if I'm making sense. Here and there, I'll look out here and there. But
Reshma want to say something. What you want to
Well,
say?
you know, it's like we were talking about off camera because we had a long conversation. And, you know, one of the things that we were saying, like, it's also a human thing. Like, respect goes two ways, right? We do a lot of things supporting artists and they support us back in different ways by giving us the time and access. And, you know, if you are disrespected in any way, but you kind of, you're going to have that in the back of your mind. Like, I'm not saying this from experience, but just what we were chatting about, like something happens where someone disrespects you. You're likely not to, we're always in rooms, right? Where conversations are happening or projects are being made or the next thing is happening. And if somebody's been a dick, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, let me just like put that person's name forward. It doesn't matter if they're a man or woman, right? You're just not going to feel it. So in the same way, I think it is important to know that if a playlist is like top heavy with men, or you've given a cover to a man every single month. Should we look out for like these dope women that are coming up? Because remember, there has to be a shift in the idea. And the reason why the same pattern happens is because it's just been ingrained. So if you don't start being aware that that's happening, no, it's your job. And I see my job as a music journalist to shed light on everyone. Everyone. And if I was just shedding light on only females, I don't think that's
it's not fair.
good.
Yeah.
I like a lot of male artists. Like, I rate Popcorn. I rate, so many artists. Like, when he has a song, I like it. I'm going to playlist that song if I'm doing a playlist, or if I'm in a place, So just saying, like, yeah, you have certain things, but am I gonna, you have to also make sure you're not like only playlisting that one artist. So I think it's like come down to like a human thing.
Have we seen a shift in culture though when it comes to females being represented in the music in all aspects?
Would you explain?
As in, from record companies to publishing to marketing to
Behind the scene or in front?
Right, behind and in front of the
I'll
scene.
say this. I know I'm gonna talk in front. Last year I think females dominated music. If you look at rap, like I'm talking about this more in the US, rap, like it's so many female rappers were dominating the charts where it was like, wow. At one point people were like, okay, this looked like a setup. But it was a lot of females who was like who rose the bar last year, where I think even with reggae, it kind of leaked into it, a little bit leaked into it. Hence why you've seen the Lee Like-He get nominated for a Grammy, this happening, that happening. I think females have, like, a lot of females have been taking a stance to the music in the front. Now in the back, look at a lot of females are in position now. I'm not saying a whole, like,
oh, there's a lot.
I'm looking at it, like they're in position, like meaning like a lot of the publicists are.
Even if you look at IMC.
All right, it's females.
It's a lot of females.
It's females. Look at I'm saying, look at these publicists.
Yeah,
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Ronnie. Marie. Like
Portia. Like, all these people involved.
Like, who else was there? Brianna is there. Shauna from 10K is there. So this is like, there's a lot of females. Look at the Cassandra from TikTok. All these, they're females. You know what I mean? So behind and in front, I think females are doing, they're doing their thing. Like,
does that make it more comfortable working environment for you guys?
I don't know.
Not for me.
I don't know.
I would like to also say, just because we had that little topic about coming up and there were some females that weren't great, I just want to shout out also some of the strong, confident females. Sylvia Owen, that was one of my first, she was the one who personally signed off when I did a Hood Celebrity documentary. Sidella, she was, when I did Skip Marley, she was the one who just like made that all happen. Strong women that don't mind. I don't think it's about them being women, but they're strong and they're confident. So I want to just shout out, like you said, like who we seeing on this, who's the backbones of where we are doing this.
IMC.
Yeah. So there are women that are strong, but I don't think it's about feeling comfortable only with them. Or maybe they make you feel so comfortable that you don't even realize that you're getting like a kind of win or something. But like, I think the best thing is, it's like how I judge music. Like if I have to write a piece in Rolling Stone, for example, and I want to say something about an album, I'm going to write about it because of the music. And if that person has male, female, white, brown, black, one arm, no arm, like at some point you can't take everything into perspective. The product also has to be good. Right? Like you might really like an artist, you might really like a manager, but if the manager is representing a really dull artist, it's not right for me to highlight that artist if there's all these other artists. Just because I like the manager, we go to lunches, which, I know you saw earlier, like, why don't, but people think we sit around and go to lunch. I don't actually do stuff like that. That really, like, it sounds like people
Let's go to lunch.
Yeah, it sounds like people in the industry are all like chummy and friendly. And that might not always be like the thing that is best also, because you could get swayed into different things. I think as long as you're objective, I think that's important. But, you know, yes, it is nice when, you know, women are being involved and included, not because just that they're women, but because like some of these legendary executives have something good to offer. I mean, how much, you know, how much dope stuff has Sylvia Rhone done? Right? For people. She's opened doors for so many people. Is it because she's a woman or is she just good at her job?
She's good at what yeah.
Does it get tiring then to hear, oh, because it's a female or females doing it then as such? Especially right now, because this word diversity is such a big word.
You know, and again, I know you're going to be like, you really, you know, I block all that out. Like, cause I don't really get.
You want to be judged for Tanya and that's
yes.
it.
And because I block that out, I think some of my counterparts, sometimes I'll deal with them. Sometimes I get a punch. I'm like, what the hell are you punching for? Because sometimes you'll forget I'm a female. You know what I mean?
You know what? I would keep it real with you because you're gangster like that.
That's
too.
what I'm saying.
Like you're both militant. Like all the women that I'm surrounded by, yeah,
it's not
just bad me up. I ain't even gonna tell no lie. It's not even like it's a weak and timid thing.
Yeah.
It's like when I walked into IMC the other day, it was like Debrina was like, Shani, you here? All right, come, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, it's very strong women that I'm surrounded by. Do you feel that even amongst yourselves when you're amongst each other?
Yeah. But you know how I look at it? Like attract like, right? As a female. Just before I came here, I was nagging Debrina about something. Before that, I was, you know what I mean? Nagging somebody else in the back about something. You know what I'm saying? So like attract like, and they know it's all fun and games, but they know when it's time to work, we working. But so that's why I don't look at it like, you know, you're good as a female or you're so-and-so as a female. So I block all that out. I think where you feel it, like you said, is when it's time to get a pay. Like I do believe sometimes men and females sometimes may not get the same pay. I will say.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes I don't think so.
They definitely. I mean,
they don't.
There's a whole. There's
I don't think so.
serious issue with the pay gap between men and females.
Even in what we do, Resh?
Look, obviously, I don't come and ask you, but you told me just now what you get paid, and I'd like to think I get paid way more. No, I'm just. But it's hard to judge when we're doing what we're doing because it's based on different things.
Yeah.
You know, the example that you did have was based on something that may not happen for someone else. You know, like that's different.
Could it be just down to the way that you negotiate?
Let me tell you, you see what you just said? There's a book, I think it's called A Negotiator. One of my old coworkers, she told me, she said, read this. And I think sometimes that's what it is. As female, sometimes be like, you know what, they'll understand, they'll see my hard work, they'll this. No, The Negotiator. And I think, and I go through that sometimes, we just not negotiating.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If somebody was to approach me, yeah, and it's a man and it's a woman, it's most probably gonna be the woman that gets through.
What would you get
just on reasoning,
just
like
about what?
Just whatever.
Go to dinner.
No business. Go to bed it fresh.
I didn't even say bed. No, your mind went to the high.
Yeah. No, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I may listen to a woman's reasoning.
Is it because you feel sorry for the?
I don't think it's a case of sorry. No, you know what?
Sure.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've always had a good relationship with women from when I was younger, and I've always parred amongst women. And I just feel that the sense of reasoning is a little bit more focused when it comes to serious women reasoning in your ears. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's like taking advice from a woman, sometimes the best advice, even as a DJ. Because it's like, 100%, a woman's going to know what they want. Women are making the best promoters right now.
Yeah.
Because they're finessing the venues and all the rest of it and giving an experience. If a woman tells me, Shawnee, I love that song, as a DJ, I'm going to listen to that a hell of a lot more. You get what I'm saying?
True.
Well, there is that good old saying where, like, if you are an artist, you see how
women respond.
How well.
A woman's touch.
And also the artists like Berries or the ones that are singing to the women, they're very successful because, you know, when you have the women as your audience, the men are going to follow anyway.
Yeah.
So you already got 2 for 1 in some way.
real.
So maybe as a business strategy, it's good for you to be playing what the women like on the dance floor, because then the men are going to come and dance.
But it's not just because it's women, you know. I just feel that the sense of reasoning seems to be a little bit more constructive.
Okay.
It
You
could
get
be
what I'm
an
saying?
ego thing too, like, you know, like 2 guys that probably men don't talk to, I don't know, but like probably 2 men don't talk to each other in the same way that a man and woman talk to each other, you know.
Who's been your biggest inspiration over the years, Resh?
Well, sticking to the female thing, I just want to big up, like, there are certain consistent people that reach out to me and champion my work, and I really appreciate that. Dr. Carolyn Cooper, big up yourself, because, you know, she has always championed when she's read something of mine or she's watched a film that I've done or something, and she will call you. And, you know, it is not easy. When I first put out my film and she was calling me, I was like, oh my God, this is not gonna be.
You don't want that call,
you know,
boy.
like, I just had to, you know, but it turned
She's
out
an amazing woman,
it turned out she was like really loved what I did. And, you know, she wrote about, you know, you probably know I have an accessories line, and I did a whole pop-up shop here where popcorn came.
Yeah.
And then because of that, I ended up doing Pulse, and she was in the front row. And that's kind of, I had forgotten I'd met her before, and she invited me to her house I thought we were having lunch, but she was really interviewing me. And that's how our relationship started. And then I looked, and she was doing the column, this Gleaner Sunday paper. I opened it while I was having coffee in Kingston. I was like, I almost choked. And she put a whole spread of my stuff and how impressed she was, and wrote all about it. And, you know, she doesn't do puff pieces. She doesn't do anything puff. If anything, it's hard to, so when over the years we've built a relationship, and she's, you know, I've written about certain things like oral sex and dancehall and stuff. And it's like, when I speak to her, I know that I can either get cussed or not, but I also know it's because she wants me to win. So I really appreciate people like that who really, I mean, talk about someone who's a dominant force and knows what they're talking about. Cindy Breakspear, another person, I want to big her up, because she's always, you know, championing what I do and always letting me know what they like. And sometimes you get told what they don't like, and it's good. Because to be honest with you, even if we all don't agree on everything, I know that the bottom line is I've built a relationship with certain people that they're telling me because they have an opinion, and then I have an opinion, and then we have to kind of make it work. I think we're all just going in the same direction. It's like, you know, being on the cruise. So we're all just really going in the same direction. And I think the industry is like that. And what Tanya says, we're not going to you're not even going to have people in your orbit if you don't resonate with them energy wise, to be honest with you, because why would you even coexist with those types of people? But coming back to your question about who has been people that inspire me, people like Carolyn have inspired me. Like, she's an amazing person that is stylish and has incredible knowledge, and, you know, writes books. I can't write a book. And, you know, that's inspiring for me. Or people that have just lived through amazing experiences. I find that I find those types of people very inspiring. And of course, I can't go down the list of artists, you know, and they're not all females or males. They're just because I may resonate. There's people that I like most artists. There's certain artists that you're going to resonate with more. And there's artists that I see all the time, and they always make a point to come and say hello. They always have respect, you know, and I appreciate that, you know.
Tanya, yourself?
I don't, people probably be like, you weird. I don't, like, in the industry?
Out, it doesn't matter. Give somebody their flowers, man. That brought you to this place.
My mama.
See, that's what it is right there.
Like, I'm not lying. My mother and the females in my family, I'm not shading
What did
nobody
you get from
again.
your mama?
I see I'm not like my mother 100%. My mother's more, I'm more, something's wrong. I'm more, My mother's more like, my mother's just, she leaves it. I'm more argumentative. Like if it's don't make sense, I'm gonna keep stressing it. I'm gonna keep stressing it. But the reason I say her, because she knows my struggle. She knows like that path I went through. She knows that when I'm like, yo, this happened, that she knows it. So with her, she inspires me because she'd be like, yo, just once you get up, thank God you up and start right back over again.
How proud is she of you right now?
I don't know, because my parents are not, it's weird. My parents are not like, my
You're
parents
keeping it real.
like, it's weird. They don't say, like, oh, I'm proud of you. They just be like, all right, do your thing, you know? I think when,
Jamaican parents, yeah.
like,
Yeah, all right,
you
well
know
done.
what it is? My parents are like, I don't know. I can't pinpoint it. They know I'm doing something, but you can't, like, you gotta just be like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I'll ask them.
You gotta ask them.
I should ask them.
What about you, Resh?
Thank you for saying earlier or throughout this conversation, like, you know, look where you guys are. I appreciate you saying that because, you know, when you're doing this, you don't look at yourself and look where I don't look at myself as like, I made it or something. But
people tell me I've made it, yeah? And you walk alongside me. You walk alongside me.
Mm-hmm.
We are all colleagues. So we've all made it.
so to that point, you could imagine the distress that my parents might have gone through when I said, no, I'm just like, I'm going to be a reggae journalist. Like, first of all, I made that
And the
up.
worst is thing.
Well, I made that up. And then it just became like what everyone came to me for. And I was like, all right, I'm a reggae journalist. And, you know, I just want to rate my parents and everyone who just didn't like make me feel bad about that. I'm sure and thank God they've kind of like seen that there's some tangible stuff, like even just to see me on the BBC in a film, like I produced
That means a lot to our people.
Right.
Like our
Because-
family backgrounds.
because
That
it's
BBC.
yeah.
Oh, it's a big thing? Oh, okay.
Bro,
Okay.
BBC to black people and Asian people in England.
It's so
That's the way that information got back home to India, to Jamaica, the Caribbean. So the BBC is like, that is proper
I know that's a big
colonial
thing too, like,
bigness, right?
So it's like BBC for England is like, it's big for Africa. Blah.
BBC worldwide.
Australia. Okay.
Yo,
Yeah.
T, when my mum saw BBC,
Oh, she was like, we were.
She's like, you're good.
I worked in news and current affairs before I worked at One Extra when I was 19, and I left there.
Really?
My mum hated me because of that. You left the BBC. Okay. It was that was it. Okay. And then when I got back, boom. That's the thing. So
yeah. So I say that to say I appreciate that. You know, I didn't follow the money or whatever the security, but you know, what is
Let me
what is being
let
rich?
me tap you on that one. There's some days though, I'm not gonna lie. There's some days I
you
be
wish
like,
you stayed in hip hop.
no, not even hip hop. No, it's not even that. It was like when I was younger, they'd be like, you're gonna be a lawyer with a son. Because my last name is Lawson.
Oh.
So I remember in my back of my head, because I used to argue a lot in school. My teacher used to be like, yo, just become a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah. They used to be like, yo, you're so debating. There's some days I'd be like, maybe I should have just became a lawyer.
Of course.
Sometimes when you see some of this shit you gotta go through, you be like, maybe I should just became a lawyer.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be happy.
remember the
No, probably wouldn't have been
But
happy.
probably remember the lawyer. You'd be asking every day, "Why am I doing this?" shit?
True.
Like I'll be honest with you, I think that too. Like you in the holy, I don't know how I went through half of the shit, but thankfully I don't have touch wood not have to do that. But I'll be honest with you, I think of it like if I was there standing in a white lab coat dispensing medicine, I might have just been out already like before. Like, you know, if you're just not doing something that you love,
That's true.
you might have questioned that every single day.
Every day.
Whereas in this scenario, you're questioning it like not every day,
Yeah.
you know, otherwise you wouldn't do it.
That's true. That's true.
Speak to that little girl that may be watching this, that loves music and wants to get involved in this and thinking to herself, I don't know what role I want to be in, or can I actually do this? What would you say to them?
Go for it. I would say, like, go with your gut. If your gut is telling you do music, go with your gut, and don't let, like, I'm very big on don't let the noise of the market deter you. Because if this is what you really want to do, anything you do in life, you're gonna go through problems. There's nothing easy. And if it's easy, it's a trick. There's nothing easy. But any girl who wants to do this, I tell them, go for it and just go and go and go and go. And I know people don't read that much. Read some books. Read some inspirational books. Like if you I'm into God. So I'll tell people Bible, motivation. You need something to lean on to keep you going. So I'll just go.
Final words from you, Resh.
What you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
I like that one.
Listen, that is it. Queens of reggae.
You might be the first one to ever call me a queen, you know.
For real?
That's so funny.
That's real.
I don't even, yeah.
He's a queen. He's a queen. I'm telling you, he's a queen. Queen Reshma.
Thank you.
And Queen Tanya.
You owe me a crown.
Yo.
Make sure
A
it's
tiara.
good. Tiara. That's what I'm saying. I
A
kind of
tiara.
well,
Me wear a crown, you wear tiara.
Shout out to Shawnee B to getting me to come out and do this.
It's my friends. I love
You will
them.
not see me do this again.
Give thanks, blessings.
Later.
all right.